How you doing? This is Robert Heath Sr., and I am a results leader.
You're listening to ResultsLeader.fm. Being a thought leader is easy. Getting results is hard. This show is for the results leader who lives and dies by their results. Here is your host and Chief Results Leader, Jonathan Rivera.
Yes, y'all. It's time for another ResultsLeader.fm. Welcome back. I'm about to give your ears a treat with today's interview. Ex-Marine, international speaker, best-selling author, and most importantly, an old school thinker. We're going to talk about Brian Tracy, Jim Rohn, books on tapes, all kinds of good things in today's interview with Mr. Robert Heath Sr. Let's jump into it. Robert, welcome to the show. How are you doing today?
Doing well, brother. Doing well. I appreciate you having me on.
All right. Let's jump into this with a quick win for our listeners. Robert, what book or books have you given most as a gift?
The book that I give most as a gift, I deal a lot with entrepreneurs and people who are starting businesses. So the book that I give most is called The E-Myth Revisited by Michael Gerber. It's a phenomenal book that helps people to really understand how to work on their business instead of working in their business.
Okay. So I happen to be a fan of E-Myth, and that is one of the most popular sayings in the book. Can you explain to our listeners, what's it mean to work on your business instead of in your business?
Definitely. So a lot of people get stuck doing the things that you need to do to run the business and never get to kind of pick their head up, right? And see the forest for the trees, or to look away from the flowers, however, whatever analogy you want to use. But the basic idea of working on your business is understanding that growing your business is a component of getting yourself out of the day-to-day tasks and realizing that running a business is creating systems that other people can run that you can then duplicate. Robert Kiyosaki talks about this in another one of my favorite books, The Cash Flow Quadrant. And he talks about, how if you can't leave your business for a year and it continue on and even grow, then you don't have a business, you have a job. But if you can leave your business, and if you own a system, you can leave that business and be gone and continue on. And over time, when you come back, it should be bigger, it should be better, it should be more improved. That's when you own a system. And that's what Michael Gerber really teaches people in the book, how to build that type of system so that they're not the technician, so that they're not doing customer fulfillment all the time. They're not doing all the jobs, but they've created systems that they can then replace themselves so that they can focus on how to expand, how to grow, what's the next market we want to go into, what's the next trend that we want to take advantage of, what's on the horizon, those types of things. And that's where business becomes fun.
Yeah, man, that's for sure. So I'm curious, how did you first hear about that book?
Oh, well, I heard it from a number of my mentors talking about it, in a number of seminars that I went to, because I've been involved in business in some shape or form since I was in my teens, actually, but definitely after college. I got into real estate a little bit. I did a number of different things. I had an Amway business for a little while. I've run a jiu-jitsu studio, and now I run a business where I run a leadership consultancy practice. And in that time when I was doing, the learning that you do, you read books, you listen to tapes, you watch videos, and that's where people talked about the E-Myth so much.
Did you just say tapes?
Yes. Yes.
He's old, ladies and gentlemen. Only us old people know what tapes are.
Yes. Back in the day. Zig Ziglar used to call it Automobile University.
That's right. That's awesome. All right, let's move on. And I would like you to share a story of how an apparent failure set you up for later success.
Yeah. I mean, there have been a number, but I'll go to the most recent one, which actually happened in my current business, right? The interesting thing, when I got out of the Marine Corps in 2017, I knew that I was supposed to start a business, start helping people, start doing that. I had already done the beginnings of it, and I was just beating my head against the wall because I felt like I needed to be better at sales. I need to learn more. I was stuck with that kind of analysis paralysis, that procrastination, and not trying to do it. So I went and got a sales job. I was a mortgage broker for about 6 months. And what was amazing about that 6 months was I think all of the bad luck that had ever been waiting for me in my life compiled all in that 6 months. I made about $1,200 over the course of 6 months. My luck was so bad, so much as to the fact that I had one of my clients literally pass away 2 weeks before we were supposed to close on a house. And so checks were just going away from me. It was like I had a repulsion for money. But what was interesting over that 6 months was I really learned a lot about what it was like and what I was going to be doing in the future, because the people that I was working for, while they were nice people, they weren't really great leaders. And that was another thing that I was really experiencing. And that was the first time in a long time that I'd had a bad boss or a bad leader. And so I had forgotten what it felt like, because while I was in the Marine Corps, I had the good fortune. I had great mentors, great leaders, and I moved up the ladder. I became a company commander, did that. But this experience, this 6 months of kind of hardening and of really learning gave me two different things. Number one, I learned how to listen to my intuition better. I learned how to listen to what I was supposed to be doing and to realize that, I was supposed to have started this work earlier. But I also got crystal clear on the people that I was going to be helping, because I got to see from the other side of it, right? I had been in leadership for 10 years before that. I had gotten to see from the other side of it what it felt like to be a good performer with bad leadership. And it really gave me a crystal clear understanding of who I was going to serve. And shortly thereafter, I wrote my book, Why Can't People Just Do Their Jobs?, which became a bestseller. I started my leadership consulting practice, and now we've built the business. It's over a 6-figure business now, and we're doing amazing things and helping a number of people all over the country.
Love it, man. So what would you say is the most worthwhile investment you've ever made?
I would always say the most worthwhile investment you can make is in your mind, in yourself, in growing and building yourself. Jim Rohn used to say it this way: don't ask to have, easier problems, ask that you can get better, right? Because if you get better while the problems of the world stay the same, then you can make things happen that other people can't make happen, right? Whereas if your problems get easier, then you're still only capable of dealing with the problems at that level. So you don't grow, you don't improve. So I would definitely tell people to invest in your minds. Books, tapes, or CDs, webinars, videos, YouTube videos, TED Talks, things like that. Pour into your mind, pour into your spirit, grow you, because you are limitless. Your growth, the greatness that is within you is limitless. And so invest in yourself.
So I want to point out, he said Brian Tracy, he said Jim Rohn. We're going for old school today. I love all these guys, and nobody even knows them anymore. So I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
All right, cool. Let's think back. Over the last 5 years, what new belief, behavior, or habit has most improved your life?
The biggest thing that I've learned, and it's a word that my wife and I talk about often, is the word called patience. So much when I was younger, I needed to have it now. And I was the type of person that wanted to be able to just put in an amazing amount of energy and get it done. And what I've realized is that the things that we really want, the things that are really worthwhile, there's the rule and the power of compound interest. But compound interest only works with consistency over time. And so it doesn't matter how much you put it in. I talk to the entrepreneurs that I coach oftentimes, and we talk about the fact that entrepreneurship and building businesses, building things is a marathon. It's not a sprint. And, I've run one marathon in my life. I trained for it so that I would never have to run that far ever again. And here's what I learned in training for a marathon and running a marathon. It doesn't matter how fast you run mile one, you still got 25 to go. And the only way you can run a marathon is to be consistent and to get to the end. And so many people burn out at the beginning because they're trying to do everything, and it's unreasonable, right? Bill Gates, Tony Robbins have said this. We underestimate what we can accomplish in 5 years, but we often overestimate what we can accomplish in 1 year. And so we do all of this work trying to get this goal that's unreasonable. Whereas if we would just consistently move towards the goal, we would get there, and we would blow our minds if we can just take that time. And so that's the thing: patience and being able to do consistent effort, consistent action rather than massive action.
Man, that speaks to me, because I am a slow mover, but I'll show up every damn day.
There you go. And right, it goes back to Aesop's fables, right? Slow and steady wins the race.
That's it, man. So what are some bad recommendations you hear in your area of expertise?
Yeah. In leadership, a lot of the bad recommendations that I get, there's so many people go into leadership and think that it's about them. They think that it's about what they do as the leader that makes a tremendous impact. And the biggest thing that I can tell people is it's so important that you realize that as a leader, it's not about you. It's about your people. And more importantly, it's about you understanding how to facilitate their development. You understanding how to support their growth. It's you understanding that where they are right now is not where they are going to be in a month, in 2 months, in a year, in 10 years. And your job is to see where they can be, but to help them along the pathway to getting there, instead of to just kind of lament about the fact that they're not where they can be. So many leaders really struggle with understanding that it's not about how you got there, because the people that you lead don't have your same talents, don't have your same skills, don't have your same idiosyncrasies, and therefore are not going to do it the way that you're going to do it. You're a guide along the path, helping them to get over the obstacles that are in their way, not telling them the war stories of how you got over the obstacle when you were doing it. Unless it's helping them to manifest their greatness, you're actually not helping.
We interrupt your regularly scheduled program for a public service announcement. We're going to get right back into this show, but I wanted to ask you a question. If you have been listening to the show for any amount of time and you've picked up even one single tip, then I need your help. Get the word out. Tell people about resultsleader.fm. Share it on social media. Share it on your email. Share it anywhere. Hashtag resultsleaderfm. Now let's jump back into the interview. First time on the show, we've heard manifest their greatness. You are on fire today, brother. All right, let's talk about results. This is what we're all about here. It's called Results Leader for a reason. Why do results matter?
Results matter because they tell you they're the ultimate feedback, right? Intentions, you've heard it before. The road to hell is paved with good intentions. Very rarely do people set out to do the wrong thing, right? You've never seen an economic advisor in the history of the country say, you know what? This economic plan is going to bankrupt. Everybody is going to be horrible. It's going to just, oh my God, it's going to be a dumpster fire. Nobody ever comes out with like that, but we see the results of those things all the time. And so it's imperative that we pay attention to results because they give us the feedback that we need to figure out whether or not we're on the right pathway, right? We as human beings, we learn from pattern interrupts. We learn from repetition and pattern corrections. And the basic thing is when you are getting good results, that's positive reinforcement to continue doing the same thing. Your brain makes it easier and easier for you to do that, and it becomes habit. When you pay attention to your results and you see that you're not getting what you want, that is the moment that you start to think about what is it that you could be doing differently. That's where the growth happens. That's where the learning happens. That's where the augmentation happens. And that's where we get better.
Oh, man, I got little goosebumps. Hairs on the back of my neck standing up right now. I love that. And the reason why is because I share something called the course corrector tool, where it's you're either on course, you're off course, you make a correction, and people are afraid of failure. And failure, as you just put it, is just feedback telling you, hey, here's where you got to go. Cool.
Exactly.
Thank you, failure.
Yes. Yes. Failure is awesome. Failure is the building blocks to success. We got to develop a different relationship with failure.
Yes, sir.
And coming from a recovering perfectionist, I understand the fear that people have with failure, but I promise you, it's one of the best things that you can have in your toolbox.
Yes, sir. So let's think back again. In the last 5 years, what new realization has helped you get better results for your clients?
So the biggest thing that helps me to get better results for my clients is to break things down into smaller steps. So just as much as we talked about failure is great and learning from failure is amazing, what we have to realize is that too much failure is problematic because then we don't know how to learn from it. And so what I learned when I first started doing, I teach a program called Thriving in Chaos, which helps people to maximize their time, to get off of the hamster wheel of just achieving for achieving's sake and managing other people's priorities, but to really make sure that every day is lived in alignment and in accordance with your purpose. And what I realized was they were drinking from a fire hose. I had a 1-day workshop, and then I had, a 3-day workshop. Then I had a 6-week workshop, and I realized that I was trying to give out too much information all at once. And so we built it out into a 12-week accompanied training session. And what we do is we give small bits that are accomplishable, that are tangible, that you can feel results. And what we know from the research is that any new behavior takes about 67 to 90 days to become automatic. And what's most important is not that you do that behavior perfectly, but again, like we talked about, that you do it consistently, that you do it week after week after week after week. And if you can do that, the beauty of it is even if you miss a couple of days in between, you will still get the results because the brain is getting the rewards over time, and your brain intentionally makes things easier to do that you consistently get rewarded for. And so you can hack habit and you can get better results if you can just remain consistent and break things down into small pieces and have small wins consistently over time.
Yeah, I love it. So what area of your business would you like better results?
So in my business, the biggest thing that I would like better results in all the time is being able to get my message to more people and to therefore be able to help more people. That's the nut that we're trying to crack over at Legacy Leadership Consulting. We are constantly trying to make sure that we not only get engagement, not only get the message out, but that we're actually able to get the connection between the people who need what we have and the message, right? There's so many people that are out there that's what we're trying to improve. How many people we get to convert to get on the phone, to talk to, and to make sure that they actually get to benefit from the programs that we have available.
Yes, sir. Now, this is a big one. You might want to sit down for this. What results are you most proud of?
The result that I'm most proud of, and it goes directly to that point that I told you about, that negative thing, that fear of sales, that fear of not being good enough of starting my business. I started my business a little over 3 years ago. Well, I'm sorry, a little under 3 years ago. And in that time, I've been able to build a business that has helped hundreds of people. And it also is taking care of my wife and my kids and my family. And that is something that, I ran a number of businesses that were side hustles, but I had a job. I took care of my bills. I did all the rest of that type of stuff. But to actually have been able to build a 6-figure business from scratch is a tremendous experience. And now I'm employing people, and I'm helping people who are my employees, who get to exhibit and get to see legacy leadership in action. I get to take care of my family, and I also get to then take care of the people that I feel called to lead and called to help with the programs that we do at Legacy Leadership. And it warms my heart every day, knowing that every day I'm living my purpose.
What a blessing, man. So any parting thoughts as we are coming to the close?
Yeah, the big thing that I want to tell anybody that's listening is, first of all, just realize that you can do it. We talked about manifesting greatness earlier. That's actually our company vision. We believe that everybody has a divine purpose. Everybody has greatness within them. And that as leaders, our job is to facilitate the manifestation of that greatness in others. As a company, our job is to help people to manifest their greatness. And one of the things that we do is, like I told you, through my Thriving in Chaos program, we help people to figure out what's their purpose and then to set their life up so that is the number one thing that they're focused on every day, and that they are figuring out how to not just manage other people's responsibilities and priorities and fit their life around other people's goals, but to figure out what is your purpose, and then to make sure that you maximize your time getting that done. And in the process, you can help as many other people as well. I wanted you to let your listeners know that I've written a book about this. It's basically talking about the 5 steps to maximizing your time and to getting more done while working less. And for anybody that reaches out to us, they can get a free e-copy of that book. All they've got to do is email me at robert@legacyleadershipmastery.com, and they can get a free copy of the book.
Beautiful. So that was my next question for you. I know that after hearing this interview, people are going to want more from you. So you just told us where to email you. Where else can people find you?
So they can find me. Our website is legacyleadershipmastery.com. And if you want to talk about speaking or anything, if you got any problems, another way that you can find us, I'm on Facebook and I'm on LinkedIn at Robert Heath and Legacy Leadership Consulting. And just reach out to us and we'll definitely reach back. But the best way is to shoot me an email. Let me know that this touched you in some way. Robert@legacyleadershipmastery.com. That's LEGACYLEADERSHIPMASTERY.com. It's a mouthful. I know. LegacyLeadershipMastery.com.
We will certainly share all of that information in the show notes to make it easy for people to connect with you. I want to just thank you for bringing the energy, bro. That's fun. I want you, bringing back the old school guys. Nobody ever talks about Roan and those guys. And man, they paved the way for everybody. Tony and all of these guys learned from them.
Exactly.
So thank you for bringing that. And for our listeners out there, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Results Leader. That is a wrap for another edition of ResultsLeader.fm. If you are out there getting results for your clients and you want to be featured on the show, go to ResultsLeader.fm now and apply to be on the show. And if you love what you're hearing, share the show, give us a rating and review, do anything to help us get the message out there. Thought leadership is easy, but results leadership is hard. We'll catch you on the next one.
This is thepodcastfactory.com.